Hey ladies, welcome to our channel. Thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate you. My name is Amanda.
And I'm Esther, and today we are going to be talking about marriage. Now, this is going to apply if you are in any committed relationship. Both of us are married, so that's why we're talking about it like that. But both of us are coming up on 12 years of marriage with our husbands. There are lots of parts to having a good relationship, and both of us have very different thoughts. Some of ours are the same, and we made our list separately before we shared them with each other. So a couple of our items are the same and several are very different. So some of these might apply to you and some may not. And we do just want to add that if there are things that we talk about that you disagree with, that's okay. We are just telling you what works for us. If you think that's stupid, that's outdated, that's not going to work for me, that's fine. Marriage and relationships are very, very hard work, but they're worth it. And these are things that work for us. So before we jump in, we wanted to ask our question of the day, which is, what is something that's important to you in a relationship, whether it's something you want to give, receive, or have be mutual? And while you're in the comments, make sure that you give this video a thumbs up before you forget and subscribe to our channel, and then make sure the notifications are turned on. Also in the description box, you will find links to our Facebook page and Instagram account, so we'd love to connect with you there as well. Now let's jump right in.
The top item on both of our lists, we're just gonna jump right in here, and that is sexy time.
It's true.
That's right. Intimate time with your spouse or partner is so important, and we do not shy away. If you know us in real life, you've heard us talk about it before. We do not shy away from the fact that that is something that we prioritize and we make sure that we have time for. It might sound silly to make sure that you have time for it, but for a lot of people, that is an excuse why they don't have the time for it, or when they do have the time for it, they're too tired. And we would just really encourage you to make it a priority. If you are in a committed relationship, it is definitely one of the top things for both of us.
And schedule it if you have to.
It
It sounds weird, but schedule it. Like, that time together is the only soul connecting time that you're gonna have together.
Having sex more often is good in so many ways. It is going to make you feel healthier, but not just physically, but mentally, emotionally. Of course, you're spending that time with your spouse or your significant other, and that is so important to stay connected and stay committed to one another. We really encourage doing it as much as you can feel comfortable. Like, I don't want to just say a number and say aim for once a week or aim for 3 times a week, because I feel like that doesn't hold meaning. It will be different for each person in each relationship, but truly, the more you can do it, I think the better you'll feel.
One of the other top items on my list is communication. And again, you guys, these are going to vary from couple to couple. So this might not be as important for some couples, but for my husband and I, it's very, very important. We talk often. We are texting and talking to each other all day long. We talk about everything. We talk about our decisions, our frustrations. We talk through disagreements and arguments, and we just strongly communicate with each other, because that's one thing that makes us feel very connected to each other. And I feel like I know Kevin better and he knows me better because we're very open about communicating everything. If I'm upset with him, I tell him that and we work through it. If he's having concerns about something at work, he tells me about it. And it's not always the most exciting for the other person to hear about something you're excited about, but just communicating and getting to know each other better, because even though we've been together for almost 13 years, we still don't know everything about each other. There's still more to learn, and I feel like keeping the lines of communication open is so important in knowing each other well, and then in turn being able to love each other well.
One of the top things in my marriage is freedom. Now, that might sound a little weird, but freedom is important for both my husband and me. Although we're a couple and we have been married for almost 12 years and together for 16, I think, we are also each in our own person, and we do have different things that we enjoy doing and spending our time in different ways. So freedom to be able to hang out with our friends separately as well as together really helps us, and we use a shared Google Calendar, which helps us to see what the other person is doing. Of course, we do talk about it sometimes, but communication is not one of our strong things. So this is a way that we are able to communicate with each other easily and effectively. So I would definitely encourage that. If you're a planner and you don't communicate the best, it's an easy way to make sure that you guys are scheduling and prioritizing your time together as well as apart.
And be okay with your partner doing something
Yep.
that you are not involved with. Amanda and I go on vacation together. Our husbands go on vacation together without us, and it is okay. It's actually really good for you.
Mhm.
Another thing that we actually had in common on our lists was having fun together. Everything from having date night at home, like we talked about in our last video, and if you haven't seen it, we'll pop it up here in the corner for you, to traveling together. And I know this is something that a lot of people have guilt about, leaving your kids at home or taking time off work and going on vacation, but we travel with our spouses multiple times a year, whether it's over a weekend or a full 10 days in somewhere. Whatever you do, like whatever you choose to do and whatever works for your schedule, have fun together, laugh together, watch funny movies together, play games together, do things that make you happy, that make you laugh, and that just let you enjoy each other.
And I would just like to add that when my kids were younger, we didn't travel. Date nights and having fun together did look a lot different. So depending on your season of life or whether you have kids and their ages, it will look different. And it's okay that date night at home is what works for you right now and what you're able to do. And it's okay if your kids are older like ours are and we're able to have people to care for our kids while we vacation. No matter what, no matter where you fall on that spectrum, it's just super important to have fun together. Another really important thing in our marriage is that we share similar priorities. A few examples of those are going to church every weekend. We do not miss. If we are traveling or out of town, oftentimes we'll log in to our live broadcast. And another priority that is really important and is proven to be important in marriages and relationships is finances. And that is another one that is so important to my husband and I. Fights about money are the number one thing in all relationships, and it's actually the second leading cause of divorce in the US. Dealing with money is not easy and it's not always fun, but it is super important, and you really need to be on the same page with your spouse or significant other before you make big money decisions or marriage decisions, honestly. So obviously, you will have different priorities than I have, and that's okay. But what is important is making sure that you and your significant other are on the same page and have similar priorities and goals. Literally write them down, number your most important goals, figure out where you're in alignment and maybe where there needs to be some compromise. Not all of your priorities might line up. One might have this as a higher priority, that as a higher priority. But what matters is that you guys get on the same page and in agreement and make compromises where needed. Early in your relationship or right now if you haven't yet.
Another thing on my list is encouragement. So kind of along the lines of what Amanda was talking about, knowing the other person's priorities and what's important to them and then encouraging them in those things. For example, my husband takes his job very, very seriously. He loves it. He wants to get better at it. So part of my job as his wife is to encourage him in that. Help support him, buy him books that can help to teach him things that can make him get better, to give him the time to work on things when he wants to improve on them, and then just encouraging him to become better and to reach his goals. Whatever's important to the other person, making sure that you support and encourage them throughout all of those things is so key, because if you're not supporting your partner, then they're not going to feel empowered to achieve. The strongest and best thing that you can do is be right there by their side, give them the time and whatever else they need to achieve, whatever their goals are, whatever's important to them. And this includes personal growth too. If your significant other needs to gain self-control, then encourage them, remind them, support them, pray for them if you do that. Whatever you can do to help them be better, and if they're doing the same thing for you, you're going to grow together. I know that in my marriage, my husband and I are both much better and much different people than we were 10 years ago because of the support and encouragement that we've given to each other.
The final thing that we both chose, which is just as important, if not the most important of all of them, is choosing to love one another no matter what. Marriage, especially, is a commitment that you chose to agree to, and it's like we've said, it is not easy. There will be fights, there will be hard patches, but every day you need to wake up and choose that you're going to love your spouse, even when you're mad at them, even when
you don't feel fluffy and
no matter what, you are committed to each other, and that needs to go both ways. It's not just you to them, it needs to be them to you as well.
yes, and part of that, at least for me, is to put the other person first. And I kind of touched on that in my last thing, but if you're both putting each other first, and this is everything from your intimate needs to your goals in life to what the other person wants to eat for dinner, like it sounds silly, but if you are always prioritize, or if you're always putting the other person ahead of yourself, which is the very definition of love, and they're doing the same for you, you're both going to be really happy. Because if I'm trying to please my husband and make him happy, and he's trying to please me and make me happy, we're both going to be happy, and we're both going to be loving each other well. So I just think this is so important, and love and commitment go hand in hand with each other, because you're committing to love, actively loving. Love isn't a feeling. It's not something you wake up and feel. I mean, you might feel that way some days, but most of the time you're not going to. It's going to be hard, and you're going to have to choose it, but it is 100% worth it, and you will both be happy and fulfilled if you are actively loving each other and putting each other first.
Okay, ladies, that is it for today. We truly hope that you felt our love and support through this video. We really just want to encourage you. We know that marriage and relationships are hard. They're not easy. And so we just thought if we could put what's working well for us out there for you all, maybe it would help lift your marriage or relationship up as well. So if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to our channel, hit that notification bell if you haven't, and share with your friends and family. We really appreciate that. Thank you so much for being here.
Don't forget to spread love today.
Bye. Just like that. That's good, right? You can just use that with me looking at you the whole time. Oh, okay. The wellest. The wellest.
Another important thing in my marriage.
That's really important.
Super, super important.
I'm going to reiterate how important the importantness is.